You're listening to Real Radio, the nationally trusted name in real estate investing. We dig deep to discover investors' why in real estate. If you want to skip all the BS and get in investors' heads, you're in the right spot. Be one of the thousands to check out realradio.com. Welcome to Real Radio, episode 253. This is the Real Estate Rundown with Owen Dashner
and Dennis Bertrand
and Ted Kaasch.
Oh, yeah, he got it.
Nice. Man, we even practiced that last week and we couldn't do it when Wyatt was here.
Dennis is an old school
I
vet,
know, man. Just like riding a bike.
Come on.
He just gets right back in the seat and just keeps on pedaling.
Speaking of riding a bike, Dennis, what's going on with your trek across Nebraska?
I actually rode this morning.
Did you? How
Yes.
many miles?
So my watch recorded 6.9 miles, but I actually recorded closer to 8 because I'm really trying to get that 10 mile in 30 minutes. So that's like my jam. Right now, I'm just going at 10 miles to see how fast I can.
Does your ass get really chapped, or do you have do you have to put special stuff in there?
I have.
He wears buttless chaps.
I actually have double padding, and my seat is also padded, so my ass is fine. Thank you. Thank you for asking.
You got to put a butt up between those cheeks.
I do gotta ask though, man, because it looks like when you're riding that, it has your heart rate at different points of the ride. Am I making that up, or is that true?
No, that is true. Yeah.
And it looked like it got up to like 165 or something like that. Like
That's where you almost got
quite
hit.
a bit.
That's where you almost got hit by a car.
Yeah.
So I this morning my peak heart rate was 188.
Are you sure you're not an AFib right now? Like, because that's not normal, dude.
I know, but it does say that the higher the heart rate is, like you're in like an athlete zone heart rate. So I don't know, maybe I'm becoming an athlete.
That's called the dead zone that you're bumping up against, buddy. I'd dial it down just a little bit, but pretty cool that you're doing that. I noticed you took a little bit of a hiatus there, but glad to see you back in the saddle.
Yeah, and I'm really glad that I'm back in it too. Believe me, it was very sad for me to be out for an entire month, but now I'm back, so I'm glad.
Don't be sad.
Well, I mean, trying to be like you guys, consistent, and and like our guest, consistent, which you're going to talk about now. So
why were you sad? Is it because of the haircut?
It was because I was out for a month.
I'm kidding. I saw that in a meme today. I just had to work it into a conversation. Whenever you see someone sad, ask them if it's because of their haircut.
Oh my gosh.
I love it.
You're so stupid.
I'm so happy.
Yeah.
Oh,
Maybe easy drink that Ted bought for you, but let's not talk about that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ted, what do you know, man?
Well, we just brought in John Urick, and which is a guy I've been smoking cigars with for a couple of years. Got to know him with short little conversations over and over again, to the point where he's like, oh yeah, and I started buying real estate this year. And I knew he was in ticket sales. I didn't know how big his ticket sale company was. I knew that he started with nothing. I also know that Lamond, a local wholesaler, was one of his first business partners with ticket sales.
What?
Yeah. And
I did not know that, and I know Lamond.
Yeah, and then Lamond's actually the one that really introduced me to him. He's like, this is my boy. And
Everyone is Lamont.
But they really are. Everything he says, sticks. And then I remember we were having a golf outing coming up a couple years ago, and he went to John and says, John, throw down some money on this golf outing. It's for charity. And he just throws down a few $1,000s.
Wow.
Bought tickets and then never showed up.
Nice. So this episode is a little different than our normal shtick that we do when we interview folks. And in that John is almost like he invests in real estate as an afterthought or a tax strategy, as opposed to like flipping and maximizing cash flow and cap rates and NOI and all that. He's just like, look, I make a ton of money in my regular day-to-day business. I need somewhere to put it that I'm not going to get hammered with taxes like I do on my regular income. And he found that real estate was a good place to park capital and, enjoy some overall gains, not just related to cash flow. So appreciation, depreciation, and the tax benefits out of it. It's interesting because we spent the first probably 3/4 of the episode talking about how he built his business, how he got into ticket sales, how the industry's changed, how COVID affected him and his employees.
It was a candid look into talking to a CEO.
It was awesome. Yeah. And he talked a lot about building company culture and how important that has been, especially, now that he stood the test of time after doing this for 21 years. But it's a lot of fun, really interesting story, like nothing we've heard on this podcast before. So stay tuned for Wednesday's upcoming episode with John Urick.
No, you're rich.
You're rich.
No, you're rich.
You're rich.
No, you're rich.
No, he's rich. That is for sure.
You're Rick.
You're Rick.
You're Rick.
You're Rick. Okay.
No, my Rick.
Yeah. All right. Enough.
Okay.
Go back to your hole.
Who brought Dennis?
I don't know. He just likes getting in front of the mic.
But if you do love this style podcast, we would love to bring more CEOs on, more business owners on, because a lot of real estate investors have another company. I mean, even the small real estate investors are dabbling this on the side. Like I have a couple other companies that aren't big in any sort of way, but the real estate is the other aspect of that, right? You have other companies and you have the real estate. You know, we've all have different ways we started, but we're all business owners, and it's so important to hear this side of it. So please give us your feedback in the comments if that is what you want to hear. Listen to Wednesday's episode and shoot us a DM. Let us know on Instagram.
Yeah.
Ria Radio.
Ria Radio. So I have a little golden nugget.
Do you?
Golden
I do.
nugget?
Oh. On today's Golden Nugget.
Yeah. Little nugget on the nugget. So this is a reminder. You've probably heard me preach this in episodes past, but in that we recently had a Fed funds rate cut of 0.25%, and the expectation, which I'm still honestly blown away by the fact that most people in real estate have no idea that this is the case, Ted.
You know, I was one of those people for so long.
Yeah. I didn't learn this until about 5 years ago, but
I'm actually probably about the same time. We probably went to the same meetup and learned.
yeah. So the Fed funds rate is what you hear on the news. They'll say, you know, Jerome Powell and, you know, the committee are going to meet and decide what they're going to do with interest rates moving forward. The interest rates they're talking about is the Fed funds rate. The most common mistake that I see people that are agents, people that are in lending, people that are real estate investors, they all assume that 0.25 point or whatever the cut is that they do to the Fed funds rate translates dollar for dollar over to the mortgage rate.
Totally.
And that is not the case at all.
And as a realtor, you will get those phone calls because people are so excited that the rates just dropped that they're ready to start buying. And you'll see every time there's a drop, you'll see a little spurt in the market.
Yep. And so what that means is when you go on Instagram or any social media and you see any realtor out there and being like, you know, make it rain, it's time to buy, you know, rates just dropped 0.25%.
Or sell
that
your house.
should tell you now, if you catch this episode after what I'm about to tell you, you should look at them a lot differently than you probably do right now.
That's
because,
a great point.
Yeah, if you're taking advice from somebody that doesn't know this, then you got to really rethink who you're getting your advice from, is all I'm saying. So the Fed funds rate is not closely tied to interest rates. The 10-year treasury is the marker generally that most correlates with the 30-year mortgage rate. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to explain it like this. And Dennis and I were talking about this a little bit before we hit record. But the Fed funds rate and the mortgage rates, usually you're going to have, it depends on where you're at in the market, but it could be a 1.5 to 2% difference between the two of them. And it depends on what's going on with the economy and a whole lot of other factors that I'm not going to get into. The 10-year treasury, think about this. The U.S. government needs cash to operate. They raise cash by issuing bonds, T-bills, right? U.S. treasuries. Those are quote unquote risk-free investments, or at least that's what they're purported to be. The rest of the world then, and people in the U.S. also, they will, or institutions, will buy U.S. treasuries that the U.S. can then use that cash, but they do that in exchange for a return. Mm-hmm. And that return, let's say it's 6.5%. That's what they have to have it priced at, or 4.5%, or whatever the percent is. If the sentiment of the rest of the world, the people that are the consumers and purchasers of these U.S. treasuries, feel that the U.S. is making some really bad fiscal or economic decisions, they just think there's a lot of turmoil here, whatever, and there is, let's be honest,
there is everywhere.
Yeah, demand for those bonds will go down. So to entice investors to put their money into U.S. debt, they will raise the interest rates on those bonds so that the investors, the buyers of those bonds, will get a better return on their money. And that will thus entice them to put more money in the U.S. That is what drives the supply and demand of the 10-year treasury. Now, does the Fed funds rate have a trickle-down effect for that? Yes. I am not an economist, so listen to me at your own peril. But pay attention to this the next time you see a headline talking about the rate drop that's about to happen, because I guarantee you it's very likely that the person does not actually know what they're talking about. Mm-hmm. So just file this away as non-useful information until the point where you see this pop up, and then you can tell people that you know everything.
Does that affect when it comes to commercial loans also? Is it the same system?
Well, yes, but commercial banks will peg their rate based on different indexes than the 10-year.
Okay.
So it might be off SOFR. And if you ask me, I at one point knew what that stood for. But basically, there's different alphabet soup indexes that they peg it to. So commercial debt is different than 30-year mortgage debt. And they have different end buyers.
And I knew it was different, but I didn't know.
Yeah.
I didn't know what it was.
Yep. So it's not based on the same. And that's why there's a little bit of a spread between usually a 20-year mortgage and then what you can get at a commercial lender. Usually there's about a point difference-ish.
I feel like right now it's almost the same.
Yeah. Or they'll do like prime plus a quarter or prime plus 0.5. So they'll base it off of prime or SOFR. Those are your two most common things that they base them off of. So that's today's Golden Nugget.
I've been shopping some loans right now for this car wash I'm looking at buying.
Oh, yeah.
And I got a 1031 opportunity, and I'm trying to consolidate some other stuff to make it all happen. Long story short, I keep on consistently wanting 25% down.
Oh, is that right?
And I'm like, oh man, why not 20? It's always been 20%. I'm not paying 25% down.
Have you looked into an SBA loan?
I have not, but that'd be a great idea.
So the Foleys, Axel and Andrea Foley, they have gotten an SBA loan for a car wash. And that's why I brought that up. I know that the broker they dealt with, I don't think was the sharpest knife in the drawer, but SBA loans are different because you can put, I think, don't quote me on this, but I think it's like 15% down. But I think they have a requirement that you need to have industry experience, but don't quote me on that. So like a lot of times owner operators of businesses will go out and get SBA loans. And, Axel, in his case, he obviously has 12 years of car wash experience, so he qualifies. But might be something worth looking into. I know 25 years ago, we opened a salon business, and we got an SBA loan for that.
You had no experience in that, though.
I did not.
I get my hair cut every couple weeks. What are you talking
about?
Yeah,
exactly. And I was getting, dude, I was rocking I had some frosted tips and everything. Do you ever have those?
Yes, I did.
Dentless?
And they pulled it through her cap.
Absolutely not.
You've never colored your hair? Nothing?
Never colored my hair, bro.
Really?
But I had dreadlocks.
Yeah, best dreads you could ever imagine.
Yeah, like people wanted to touch my hair. Like I wouldn't watch your hair and want to touch it if it's frosted tipped.
Yes, you would. You love my locks.
Owen wishes he had those frosted tips nowadays.
Listen, I gotta ask you this, man. I've always wondered, don't they smell after a while? Like, don't your dreadlocks smell like you're laying on the pillow and you're like, nighty night time, and you're like, good God, what is that rank odor? Oh, it's me.
Bro,
does that not happen?
You have to wash your hair.
Like I thought you didn't wash them forever. Like you just let them. No.
So the process of getting locks is a waterless process.
Okay.
But there is something called dry shampoo.
Okay.
So you shampoo it, but you don't wash it out. You just wipe it out with a cloth, right? There's leave-in shampoo and there's dry shampoo. So you might be skinning up your face because you think it's nasty, but it actually is clean. It's a clean process. Right? And your locks smell much better. But you have to go through the process of not adding water because what holds the hair together is the dust and the dirt and whatever else is in there. But if you don't wash your hair, it's going to smell like crap. And there are a lot of people who don't wash their hair because they think that, in order for them to have the locks, they have to not wash their hair. But that's not true. You can wash your hair. You're just not supposed to use water. That's all.
You ever see the people like
that was golden nugget number 2?
Yeah. You ever see the people cutting off their locks in those videos and there's bugs in
yes, I have. That skeeves me out, man.
Right. Those are the people that don't wash their hair.
Yeah.
Because they are stupid.
Okay, so there's a right way and a wrong way to grow dreadlocks.
There's a clean way and then there's an unclean way.
Do you find that more that the white people are doing the dirty dreadlocks?
Ugh.
I plead the fifth.
It's just not a good look, man. I'm just gonna say it. For white people, I'm saying it's not a good look.
That's good for you guys to say that. I'm not gonna say that.
I'm giving it a thumbs down. Ted wants to. He's worried about ratings.
First time Demless has ever said I plead the fifth on something like that.
Yeah, no kidding.
Like, what the heck is this? Hey, so what's the news on your listing? You've been trying to sell that 4-story building. Is it sold? You had a couple options on the table.
So I ended up getting, I think, 6 LOIs. So I got 6 letter of intents. And I am down to negotiating with 2 of them right now as we speak.
And you're limited on what you can say on that, I understand.
Am I? I don't know. It's never stopped me before.
I guess you're not. It's your process.
I haven't signed anything yet. Yeah. So, but I'm negotiating with a nonprofit
Okay, you mentioned that one.
And then a traditional apartment buyer customer.
To recap, tell me if I'm wrong, but the nonprofit wants to do a redevelopment, and it was contingent, and you wanted money to go hard.
Yes,
40 to 50,000, so that way if they back out in 3 to 4 months, you saw something.
Exactly. Well, and the big thing for me was they wanted like a 90-day exclusivity period,
right.
and they wanted to be able to have the opportunity to push it out at even, I think, another 30 days after that.
Yep.
So I'm like, so you want a free look for 3 or 4 months, and I have no recourse whatsoever, and I can't talk to anyone else about selling it. Gee, where do I sign? I mean, it was stupid.
But it was more money.
It was more money, and that was it. And
yeah.
It wasn't that much more to where it was worth it to me to take that risk of taking it off the market that long and everything else.
Plus, it pushes you past the year.
So we kind of, I mean, we're not like playing one off of the other, but we're not doing that.
I mean, that's part of the business.
Yeah. And so as things sit right now, the nonprofit has gone from like 90 plus 30 days to 30 plus 5 on the period.
That changes.
Yeah, it does, with no financing contingency.
Yeah.
Right. So my whole thing is like, what are we doing dicking around with LOIs here? They're non-binding. I mean, okay, my name's on them, your name's on them. It doesn't mean I can't hold your feet to the fire to really any of this.
No.
Because there's no purchase and sale agreement. I'm like, if you guys really want this deal, I want to see it in a PSA. Let's both sign it. Like, if this is what you're offering, I'll do it. But they're like, we need 21 days to put together a PSA. I'm like, on what planet does it take 21 days to do a freaking 4-page agreement? Unless you just load it up with a whole bunch of crap that I'm not going to want to read.
The other lawyers are writing it.
Right. So they have a board, and, it's a nonprofit, so they have a board and all this. But then I started thinking about this too, man. And like, look, this is at risk of me aging badly. Well, I already aged badly, but this statement aging badly. But they want to do a redevelopment, and I believe it's going to include bringing in felons and making it more of like not a rehab type place, but basically like an interim housing,
like an
transitional housing,
like an Oxford property.
Yeah, sure. And that means then that every single tenant that I've had in that building since my ownership and the recent ones, they're going to get booted. Right. So I do have a little bit of my humanitarian aspect. Now you could say, well, you've done the exact opposite of that when you're on the buying side, and you're not wrong there, but it make me think about that a little bit, because a lot of these people are going to have to find other places to live and everything as a real result of this.
I mean, it could be a great opportunity to get people to go into your other properties.
Yeah.
And you can pick and choose the good ones.
We actually just talked about that, and we were talking about maybe even looking to do a 1031 in kind of a similar area just to try and attract some of the former residents that we've had. But I don't know. So I guess the point is we're still negotiating at this point. I would take probably a lesser sale price, although they came up 50 grand more, the nonprofit did, than what they already offered, which was 50 grand more. You know what I mean? So it's like it keeps getting better.
Yeah.
It's a shorter time, more money. So I don't know what I'm going to do. It depends on who's going to put a PSA in front of my face that I can actually read and sign and agree to. I'm going to be pissed if neither one of these come together, though. I'll tell you that right now. I don't want to start this whole thing over.
Yeah.
Which property is this?
This is the Fifth Ave Apartments. The one that you've been to before.
Yeah.
Penthouse.
The
Molotov cocktail.
Molotov cocktail. Yeah, I mean,
elevator.
The greatest stories come out of this place.
Naked man building a gingerbread house in the lobby.
Yeah, the elevator that opens up randomly in your Airbnb.
Yeah. Anyway, great property. If it hasn't sold yet, hit me up.
The one you had to replace the roof on and all the air conditioning units.
Yeah, 19 AC and furnace units.
Somebody went through and stole a whole bunch of stuff at one point.
Yeah.
What other fun stuff has happened there?
It's been a lot.
That's been our content maker.
Oh, I know. I got to find another one. I may have one already. It's shaping up that way. So stay tuned. But anyway, that's what's been going on with me this week, man.
I love that. Well, for sake of time, I know you got to get to a volleyball game.
As is my life these days.
And Denless is really expensive, and he's on the clock. So
that's right.
We had to pay extra to have him here instead of Aiden.
These cameo appearances are just costing us, man.
He should be paying us to jump on the podcast these days. Like, hey, I want to come back on, guys.
You do have a point, and I may be jumping back out pretty soon, but I have to get a unanimous agreement between the two of you to have me back, and then we'll talk about it.
I love it because we love Aiden, but it's good to have you here because you actually throw your 2 cents in, and I think people enjoy hearing your voice.
I think people enjoy hearing my voice a lot too.
They just don't want to hear 2 white guys talk all the time.
That's why.
That's why he says.
Hashtag Denless in the wild. All right, let's get out of here.
Well, with that, Owen Dashner, we see us out.
On behalf of Rio Radio, Denless Bertrand, And Ted Kaasch.
And it's me.
I'm Owen Dashner, and you're listening to the Real Estate Rundown.
Yeehaw.
Signing off.